Well, today I wanted to talk about something that I just heard about. It's called your third place. You know, when you're a kid, home is your first place, school is your second place. Everybody has a third place. And obviously as you grow up, that third place changes. So I thought it would be fun to talk about my third places growing up and hopefully get to hear a little bit about your third places. I was thinking about it. The earliest third place that I can think of when I was a little kid, you know, probably 5, 6, 7 in there, was the woods behind my house. Finding cool sticks, you know, imagining medieval battles, and obviously after The Legend of Zelda came out, you know, there was a lot of Legend of Zelda play acting. I was an only child, so a lot of it was, you know, just goofing around by myself, making my own entertainment. Early on, like in kindergarten, my friend Garth, who, for Pack Guy fans, co-made the Pack Guy games with me. But yeah, I think Garth's house, I spent so much time over there as a little kid. We drew comics. At some point he got an Atari 2600 with, I think, every game. And my memory is he got it, or his parents got it at a garage sale for next to nothing at the time. So we played. That's also like a place, although we had the Atari 400 at my house. Those are really foundational. That really unlocked that love of video games and the emergent storytelling that comes from a lot of those primitive video games where you sort of fill in the storytelling gaps just because the game is just beeps and boops. I do remember they had an electric fence to keep the horses in, and there came a point where we were trying to get superpowers, so we would hold like a grasshopper, and then we would grab the electric fence in the hopes that the electricity would transfer the power of the grasshopper into us. Which, looking back, you know, yeah, maybe we would have gotten incredible jumping abilities, but we also might have just like barfed tobacco. Like, you don't know which power you're gonna get. So I think early on those are like foundational third places. And then as I grew up, I wanted to say video stores. I was thinking about it. It's like I wanted to say like, oh my God, the video update, you know, when I was a teenager, or the video review next to my house when I was a kid. But the truth is, you don't hang out at the video store. And this is really like your third place is not, it's where did you spend a lot of time? Where was like another place that was like your place? So as much as I want to include like those kinds of places, I didn't like spend a ton of time there when I was there. Cumulatively probably adds up. But I was thinking about it, like right out of high school was kind of getting into different friend groups, and there was a lot, especially right out of high school, a lot of late night hangouts. You know, everybody's either, you know, we're in between high school and college, and, you know, people, you got jobs, but you got a lot of downtime too. And so we were always looking for, like, where can we just hang out and not have to spend a lot of money. And I will say back then, a lot of my friends smoked. I didn't. And that was at a time when you could still smoke in restaurants. I know it's shocking to imagine nowadays. But for teenagers who wanted to smoke, who wanted to not, you know, they didn't want their parents to know all these things, it usually came down to like Perkins. Like Perkins is open 24 hours. everybody could order a coffee or a pop or, share a plate of fries or something, and then you'd hang out till 2 a.m. It ruled. It was really fun. There was a place called Jay's Pizza that was sort of an alternate Perkins, independently owned, real dumpy little place. I used the bathroom there once and vowed to never do it again. It was like, imagine being in a coffin filled with spiders and applesauce, and it reeks like ass. That's what that bathroom was like. Never again. But they made really good garlic toast and spaghetti. I did get the spaghetti every once in a while. Famously, one time they had a good jukebox there too, like an old-fashioned jukebox. But famously, one time a couple of friends of mine were there, and they were always quiet until it was time, until the bars let out, and then they would have that after bar close rush of drunks. And a couple of friends of mine were there when somebody drove through the front of the building because they were wasted coming from the bar, and so that was cool. And then it became Caribou. Caribou became a huge hangout spot for us. My friend circles, it was an absolute blast. We spent so many hours at Caribou. You get one drink. I mean, I think the coffees were refills. You could get free refills back then. But we ended up just knowing all the staff, all the crew so well. Most of the time they just didn't have us pay anyway. Like, we just became friends with them just because we were there all the time. It was super fun. So Caribou is probably, because now as an adult, you sort of lose that third place a little bit. Although we still have like the places we go with friends a lot, other friends' houses, and I guess we still have. We just don't have the time. If a third place is really dictated by like how much time you spend in a place, that's the problem. Is you just lose the time to have a third place in as meaningful a way as you did back then. But yeah, Caribou ruled. I would sit, there were times, there was a period of time where I didn't have a job, and I would go up to Caribou in the morning, and I would just start calling friends, and if someone was around, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'll come up and hang out for a while. They'd come up, hang out for a couple hours, and then they'd have a job to go do or something else to go do. And I would just start calling friends again, and I would find someone else, and they would come up and hang out and I would just be up there all day, just like hanging out with different people. And then, it was back then, it was, it's a small world. It's not far from the high school that I graduated, and a lot of people still like lived in the area. So if you were just there for a while, you probably would just bump into somebody and be like, hey, sit down. That was a really fun time. I'm very much a person that likes, in a way, like if I'm traveling somewhere, there's something about, I sort of like to find a cool spot and plant myself and sort of let the place come and go around me versus like me seeking everything out. I'm just built, I am simultaneously the most chill person and the most horrifically anxiety-ridden person. Both of those things at the same time are an interesting combo, to say the least. But yeah, so that's. I just want to talk about that idea of your third place, and I wanted to talk about some of my third places, get them on the record, before my mind starts to go, and talk to you and ask you, like, where were your third places growing up, and where were your third places out of college? And I think that's those are interesting little pieces of personal history, and they're not like amazing places. Most of us don't have like a third place that's like a wild story. That's kind of the point, is it was like a safe place. It was a place to unwind or to just not have to think of something interesting, you know? So yeah, tell me about your third places. Well, I think that's all she wrote for today. I'm trying to work the whelp into the end, but I'm not good at outros. So thank you everybody for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.